Hi, I'm Makalani at Nordic Yarn Art, and today I'm going to show you how to work the Jasmine stitch in the round like on a headband. And we're going to go through everything in super detail. You do not need any Jasmine stitch experience to dive in. I will show you how to make the Jasmine Stitch foundation round and how to make the super gorgeous, completely seamless transition between the rounds. So let's dive in. To follow along, you're going to need a crochet hook and some yarn. A lot of different yarn types can work well with the Jasmine stitch, and the most important thing for today is that your yarn is not loosely twisted. If it's loosely twisted, it will split and it's going to be hard to learn the stitch. So get your yarn that's not loosely twisted and let's get started. The foundation round on the Jasmine stitch does not consist of a row of chain stitches like normal, but of a row of petal stitches. Let me show you how to make that. Get your yarn and start by making a slip knot like you always do when you start a new project and place it on your hook. Next, we're going to chain one. Now, pull the loop on your hook up to the length you want, maybe around 2 centimeters, and yarn over. Now we're going to insert the hook through the chain stitch that we started with. So insert it through the stitch, get the yarn, and pull it up to the same height. Now we have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over again and insert your hook through the same chain stitch. Get the yarn and pull it up. Now you have 5 loops on the hook and you're going to secure those with a single crochet. So yarn over and then pinch the yarn below the hook with 2 fingers. You're going to keep it there, do not let go. Then turn the hook so that the hooked part points towards your belly, and then pull the yarn through all 5 loops on the hook. The important thing here now is to keep pinching the yarn in your left hand. And you can see that an opening appears below this yarn. You're going to insert your hook into this opening and get the yarn and pull it through the first opening. Do not pull through both loops on the hook. Now tighten the yarn a little bit and you will see that you have 2 loops on the hook, 1 on each side of the 5 loops. Now yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. Tighten a little bit and chain 1. You have now completed your first petal and we're going to fasten the next one to the top of this one. So pull the loop on your hook up, yarn over, and then insert the hook through the single crochet on the top of the petal. Get the yarn and pull it up. Now your work is going to look like this and you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, insert it through the single crochet stitch again and get the yarn. Now you have 5 loops on the hook. I'm going to show you in detail one more time how to secure these. Yarn over, pinch the yarn below the hook and pull the yarn through all 5 loops. Remember to keep pinching the yarn in your left hand. Insert the hook into this opening and get the yarn through the first loop on the hook. You now have 2 loops on the hook, 1 on each side of the 5 petals. Yarn over and pull through both. Now you've completed the single crochet stitch. Tighten and chain 1. Now you've completed 2 petals and you can continue in the same way. Pull the loop up, yarn over, insert the hook through the single crochet, get the yarn, pull it up, yarn over, insert through the single crochet, get the yarn and pull it up. Again, secure the loops with a single crochet stitch like that and secure with a chain stitch. Now I want you to keep going like that until you have 2 petals less than what you want on your round. I have now made a row of 14 petals and we're going to make these into a circle by making 2 petals together. We start like we've done on all the single petals that we've done so far. Pull the loop up, yarn over, get the yarn and do that one more time. Now that you got your 5 loops on the hook, you're not going to secure them with a single crochet and a chain stitch like you normally do. Instead, you're going to yarn over and then find the very first chain stitch that we made when we started the first petal. Okay, you've got your 5 loops, you've yarned over. Now you're going to insert the hook through the first chain stitch that we made and pull the yarn up to regular length. Now it's really important that you do not tighten so that you end up with something looking like this, because you want to build another petal of the same size, 2 petals together. So pull the yarn to the regular height, yarn over again, insert one more time to the chain stitch and pull up. Now you've got 5 loops on the first petal and 4 on the second one, and we're going to secure all of them with a single crochet and a chain stitch. Yarn over, pinch the yarn below the hook and pull the yarn through all the loops on your hook. Note how I'm still pinching the yarn in my left hand, and you need to insert the hook through this opening and get the yarn. Now you have 1 loop on each side of the 9 loops. You're going to yarn over and pull through both of these. You're going to tighten well and then chain 1. You have made a double petal, 2 petals together, to turn the foundation row into a circle. So the reason I told you to make a row of petals 2 less than what you wanted is that when you turn the row into a circle, you create 2 petals. So now we have 16 petals here, and we are ready to start the first round. If you are enjoying this video, please like it. And just so you know, I've got a lot of Jasmine tutorials, tips and tricks planned for the next few weeks. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe to my channel so you're sure to catch everything. Okay, let's dive back in. The first stitch of the first row is a petal stitch cluster with 2 petals together. You start this by pulling the yarn up to the regular height, yarning over, and getting the yarn through this opening, which we're going to call the flower center. So we insert through there, get the yarn and pull it up. Now we have 3 loops on the hook. We do it again, yarn over, insert through the flower center and get the yarn. Now we have 5 loops on the hook. We're going to place the next petal in this flower center right here. So yarn over, insert through the flower center and get the yarn. Do that one more time. Yarn over, insert through the flower center and get the yarn. Now we have 5 loops and 4 loops, and we're going to secure these together with a single crochet and a chain stitch. Yarn over, hold the yarn well, keep pinching it while you pull the yarn through all the loops. Insert your hook through the little opening, get the yarn. Now you have 1 loop on each side of the 9 loops. Yarn over and pull through both of these, tighten and chain 1. We have now started the first round with 2 petals together, petal 1 and petal 2, and the next stitch we're going to make is going to be 3 petals together fastened in this flower center, the second flower center here, and the third one here. We start in the same way by pulling the loop on the hook up, yarning over and getting the yarn through the first flower center. We do that one more time. Then we're going to want to get the yarn through this flower center here. So we yarn over, we insert to flower center 2 and we get the yarn. We do that one more time, insert through flower center 2 and we get the yarn. Now we have 5 loops and 4 loops on the hook. The next petal is going to be fastened here. So we yarn over and we insert the hook through flower center 3 and pull up the yarn. One more time. And now we have 5 plus 4 plus 4 loops on the hook, and we're going to secure them all in the same way. So yarn over, hold the yarn and pull the loop through all the loops. Keep pinching that yarn. This is going to be kind of tight. You're going to insert your hook through this little opening and get the yarn. Tighten well, get the yarn through both loops on your hook and finish by chaining 1. Now we have our first 2 petals together here and the next 3 petals together. And these 3 petals together are called a petal stitch cluster with 3 petals, and that's the most used stitch in the Jasmine world. It's kind of the single crochet of the Jasmine world. And we're going to work petal stitch clusters with 3 petals all the way around the work. But first I want to mention a few things. To be sure that you get the transition between the rounds right, it can be a good idea to get a stitch marker and place it on top of the first 2 petals. I recommend placing this stitch marker in the flower center after you make the first petal stitch cluster with 3 petals, so that you don't have to work into the stitch while the stitch marker is there. That's my first tip. The second tip is about the yarn tail that is from the start of the work. You can either work it in now with a yarn needle to get it out of the way, or you can do what I'm doing here. You might have already noticed it, but what I've done is placing the yarn tail along the edge of the work. And as I continue to build petals, I'm going to build them around the yarn tail. That way you don't have to weave it in later. It's going to be covered by your petals as you go. So let me show you how to work the next petal stitch cluster with 3 petals and notice the yarn tail. Start by pulling the yarn up, yarn over, insert through flower center 1 and get the yarn. Do that one more time. Now notice that the yarn tail lies here. Yarn over, insert through flower center 2 and get the yarn. Do that one more time. Through flower center 2, get the yarn. And we do the same over flower center 3, get the yarn. One more time. You now have 5 plus 4 plus 4 loops on the hook, and we're going to secure all of them in the same way. You have now made 2 petals together with the stitch marker on top, 1, 2, 3 petals together, and 1, 2, 3 petals together. And the yarn tail is here in the middle of the stitch. Now place the next petal stitch cluster here, here, and here. Then you can work around the work, and I will show you how to complete the round on the other side. We now have 2 petals together to begin, and then 14 petal stitch clusters around the work. And the yarn end is now completely hidden inside of the work. Your work now looks something like this, with the last petal stitch cluster here, 3 together, and the very first of the round here, only 2. And we're going to finish the round by working 4 petals together, placed here, 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 and in the stitch with the stitch marker. So I recommend that you take the stitch marker out so we don't have to work into the stitch while the stitch marker is there. Now we are ready to work the 4 petals together, and this might take you a few tries because there are going to be a lot of loops on the hook on the same time. We start like always with the 5 loops of the first petal, yarn over, and build the loops of the second petal into flower center 2. Yarn over, make the loops of the third petal. Now we have 5 plus 4 plus 4 loops on the hook, and we are going to place the last petal here. So yarn over, get the yarn through flower center 4, yarn over, and get the yarn through flower center 4. Now you have 5 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 loops on the hook. We're going to secure these like we always do. Be careful now when you pull through all the loops. Insert your hook through the little opening, get the yarn, tighten well, get the yarn through both loops, and finish by chaining 1. Now you have completed the first round of the Jasmine stitch. The first stitch you made are these 2 petals here. Then you have 1, 2, 3 together, 1, 2, 3 together all the way around until the very last stitch that we finished with that has 4 petals. Here, 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 and here. Now we're ready to start round number 2. We're going to start that in the same way that we did round 1 with a petal stitch cluster with 2 petals. So pull the loop up and get the yarn through flower center 1. Do that one more time. Now you have your normal 5 loops. Yarn over, get the yarn through flower center 2, and do that twice. You have your 9 loops, and you secure these with your single crochet and your chain stitch. We have now started the round with 2 petals together. Now we're going to make 3 petals together placed here, here, and here. So pull the loop up, yarn over, get the yarn through flower center 1, one more time, yarn over and get the yarn through flower center 2, one more time, and yarn over and get the yarn through flower center 3, one more time. Now you have 5 plus 4 plus 4 loops on the hook, and we're going to secure those like we always do. That's the start of round 2, 2 petals together and then 3. And again, I recommend that you place a stitch marker in the flower center on top of those first 2 petals. Now you can work 3 petals together all the way around round 2, and we'll finish the round together. So make 14 petal stitch clusters with 3 petals. You have now worked the first 2 petals of the round, and then 14 clusters of 3 petals together all the way around your work, and we are now ready to finish round 2 by making 4 petals together worked into this flower center here, this one, and the final one with the stitch marker. So again, I recommend you take out the stitch marker before we start. Again, working these 4 petals together might be a little bit hard because there are so many loops on the hook at the same time. But take your time and just try a few times until you get it. Let's get started on that last petal stitch cluster by getting the 5 loops of the first petal ready. Yarn over and make the loops of the second petal, yarn over and make the loops of the third petal. Now we have 5 plus 4 plus 4. We're going to yarn over and insert into flower center 4 over here. Get the yarn, pull it up, do that one more time, and we now have 5 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 loops on the hook. We're going to secure these like we always do by yarning over and pulling through all the loops on the hook, inserting your hook through the little opening, getting the yarn, tightening well, getting the yarn through both loops, tightening and chaining 1. Now we have completed round 2 by making 4 petals together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these here are the first 2. So you supplied the last petal to this petal stitch cluster of 3 petals on the last stitch of the round. To keep working the Jasmine stitch in the round, remember to start the round with 2 petals together, then work 3 petals together all the way around and finish by making 4 petals together. Always remember to place a stitch marker on top of the first 2 petals and count the petals along the top of your work to check that you have the right number. And this number should be the same as the total number of petals on the foundation round. I hope that was really useful to you. Now you know everything you need to be working the Jasmine stitch in the round with a completely seamless transition. If you have any questions at all, please let me know below. Below, I've also linked to my Etsy and Ravelry stores where you can find lots and lots of Jasmine patterns for putting your new skills to use. One project that you can make with your new skills is the chunky Jasmine headband that's been one of my best sellers this winter. So I hope you love them, I hope you love this stitch, and I cannot wait to see you again in the next video. Happy Jasmine stitching!